Oh, I'm glad you did that after I was offering alcohol. Thank you. Right. Awesome, awesome. Well, really welcome everybody. Really good to see you all. Thank you for making the time to be a part of this info session. Dr. Nicholas, currently the director of the program, faculty member in the program as well. Been here a little bit over 17 years now. This is my 31st year as a professor in the academy. 10 years before that, I was at Boston College, kicked off my career at Columbia in New York. So that's a little bit about me. I am joined by the very best director of this program that all of you will have a chance to be exposed to if UM is your choice. I am joined by the incoming director, Dr. Wonderman, who is amazing in many ways. So Dr. Wonderman, I'll give you a minute to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Terry Wonderman. I'm coming in after being adjunct faculty here for about 16, almost 17 years. And I've been adjunct here teaching 1 or 2 courses every term in the mental health counseling program because I love it. I'm also a graduate of the program you're looking to come into many years ago, but I was a graduate. I graduated with my doctorate, my PhD in counseling psychology as well here. So I know it from the inside out. And it's a wonderful program. The faculty are lovely. I wouldn't have stepped into this position to co-direct with Dr. Nicholas and then take over in May unless I loved it at this point in my career. So I'm delighted to meet you all. Happy to answer your questions. And hope we all enjoy it. It's the game. That's what it's here for.
Awesome, Dr. Wonderman. Thank you so much. And we are joined by the very best. I don't know any other office that is post-student in my life. And that is headed by Tanisha Hollinsdale, who is from our Office of Graduate Students. And so I'm going to let her introduce herself, followed by Donna.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tanisha Hollingshed, and I am the Assistant Dean of the Office of Graduate Studies here at UM School of Education and Human Development. So we're always excited to have these sessions for potential mental health counseling students. So my office, what we do is we support students into the program from beginning to end. At the admissions level, if you have any application questions as a current student, if you have any questions regarding the program, registration, policies, rules, graduation, anything like that, my office is here to assist you all. So welcome and thank you for attending tonight's session.
Thanks so much, Tanisha. Donna, yes.
Yes, I am Donner Valle, and I am the Senior Program Manager here in the Office of Graduate Studies. So like Tanisha mentioned, our office is here to assist you from initial application all the way through your commencing from the program and anything post-program that you might need any help with, we're here to help you.
That's really great. Thank you so much. So we're going to use the chat now that we've told you a little bit about who we are, because we won't get a chance to like open up the mic so every single one of you can share a little bit about yourself, because it will take us too long. But you're going to use the chat. Please tell us who you are and where are you joining us from. So if you're like wherever you are right now, New Jersey, New York, Atlanta, Canada, right? Let us know in the chat, introduce yourself, so that way you can already starting to connect and be connected with each other. And while you are doing that, gives us an opportunity to share with you that this program has been around for many, many, many decades. So you're coming into a program that is not relatively new. It's a program that's been around for a very, very long period of time. It has graduated a lot of different students. As some of you know, the university is celebrating its 100th year, as well. And so that gives you a sense of like the longevity of this program as well. So really, really excited to have all of you join us. And as we get started, let us say, and I know you're going to join me, and by the fact that we just found out just earlier in this at the end of last year, we learned that the program has been fully accredited right? Fully accredited by MPCSC for the next 8 years, right, Donna? In an 8-year cycle.
Yes.
I know you're gonna send us some hearts, you're gonna send us some celebration. You're gonna use your reactions to send us some excitement of the fact that the program is fully accredited. As you know, this is like a new thing that is happening now with making sure that programs are accredited. It wasn't a thing even 5 years ago, right? So this has all happened like right in the midst of COVID, that having accredited program became a thing that is absolutely crucial and necessary to do. So we're super excited about that. So you can cross that as a question to ask. Is the program accredited? Yes, we are fully accredited for the next 8 years. And we're actually about to celebrate that accreditation by hosting a party with all our friends and students and alumni to the program and all of the supporters of the program as well. So that's just a little bit of news so with all of you. Thank you. You guys are doing so well by sharing who you are, right? So you can see where your colleagues are from and where are people coming from. So clearly we have some folks from Miami, we have some New York in the house, Newport Beach, Dallas, Texas is in the house, Peru is in the house, but living in Boston. We are sending some warmth your guys' way, New York and Boston. Miami sending you some love, some nice warm weather on this side as well, but really great to use the Georgias here as well. So good to see all of you joining us tonight. What we want to do is just kind of share with you a little bit. We have a PowerPoint that we're going to share some information with you about the program, just to kind of give you an overview. This will be the last, our application deadline that's coming up this March. We will not negotiate it at all because we only do applications twice. So we're going to share with you a little bit about the program and what the expectations are. You are here with the people who are reading your applications, about to decide whether or not you're going to be in an interview, right, and so on. So these are the people to ask the right questions, right, tonight. And so we want to make sure to leave you ample time as well to ask all the questions that you want to ask tonight. There are no questions that are, that are too easy or stupid to answer. If it pops in your head, I say ask it. You can use the chat to ask a question, but you can also open your mic to be able to do so as well. So with that, let me ask Donna to open up the screen for us so we can get going in that. So Donna's not gonna say anything because this PowerPoint was created by me. Let me just say, let me not give the Office of Graduate any credit for that, because I know Donna looks at it and be like, really, Dr. G, we can't do any better than this. So this is the extent of my, technology skills. Okay, Donna, that's it. So Terry will do so much better with the PowerPoint, but this is just a quick intro to the program. So we're gonna go to the next one to share with you a little bit about, and I'm gonna ask, Terry and them to just step in, please, colleagues. If I'm missing anything you wanna add, please, Tanisha, Donna, Terry, please step in and ask and do so as well. This slide just gives you the basic requirements to think about in terms of your application process, right? So it gives you an idea of what is it that we are looking for. And unfortunately, we can't move forward unless we have all that information. So we can't do anything unless we get your transcript. We can't do anything unless we get the 3 letters of recommendations. Your personal statement, right, is a big part of that. And then, of course, we're having a minimum of a GPA of 3.0 is what we look for. Let me just say something about that. We have a holistic view. We are counseling mental health program, which means we understand the whole person, right? And so we recognize that maybe like your GPA is like, 2.9. That doesn't mean like it's gonna like automatically get you off our radar to be able to take a look at, but it's giving you a basic understanding of what your GPA should be in terms of being able to apply it for the program. The other thing is just to say is that it's asking for 3 letters of recommendation. Let us be very clear about what that means. Can you send 4? Yes, you can send 4. It's just a minimum of 3 letters that we're asking for. So if you don't have 3 letters, then we will see your application as being incomplete. When we say we need 3 letters of recommendations, we don't mean one from your godmama. We know your godmama love you. You know, we know the rabbi loves you from your, you know, temple. We know that. And we know your auntie loves you. That's not the kind of letters that we are looking for, even though we get them sometime because they tell us in the letter that my godchild is the best and why she's like the bomb to get into this program. But we really are looking for letters from people who can speak about your academic standing and your abilities and so on. But it's also asking you about asking for letters of people that where you've done volunteer work, right? Where you've had, you know, you've done work in the community that can speak to your readiness to really start this journey, right? Overall. So really be mindful of that. Be mindful of who you're asking for letters. We say all the time within our own program that it's good when you're asking for letters that you ask people if they can write you a strong letter of recommendation, because anybody can write you a letter, but there's a difference between a letter recommendation and a strong letter of recommendation, right, Dr. Wonderman? Right, so it makes a big difference. So somebody who's like, yes, you were in my class and you got a B is a letter, right? But somebody who can speak about your critical skills, your writing skill, and how you showed up in class and how you engage and so forth is a different kind of letter. So you really want to be very mindful of your request for the letters, but also the type of letters that you're going to get. So it's really, really connected a bit to how you set that up, right? And then the other piece, I see a question in the chat about the GPA, right? It's like, it's an overall GPA that we're looking for, Martin. That's why I'm saying that because sometimes we can pull your psychology GPA and your psychology GPA looks better than your overall GPA. And that's why I'm saying it's important for us to have like a holistic view. So it could be that you're slightly under the 3.0, but your psychology GPA is actually relatively high, right? And so, and that would be important for us, you know, to pay attention to. So we're saying that just so if it's like your GPA is not a 3.0, you don't say, okay, let me not apply, right, at all, because I know Terry and I will absolutely make sure to, you know, to pay attention to those things, okay? The other thing that is a part of the other piece that I want to mention is around the personal statement piece as well. So I want to just say a few words about that, because oftentimes it's hard for people to think about what that personal statement is really asking for. And so we're really talking about the opportunity for you to demonstrate, right? Who are you? Because think of it for a moment, because Dr. Wonderman and I are getting a PDF packet of you, right? Initially, right? So like, you know, we know you're a person, but we get a PDF of you and we want to know who is this person and what have you done and where are you planning on heading, right? And that's the statement we're looking for, something that it doesn't go in depth about like what, you know, like what happened in your personal life and, you know, and the therapy that you had and all of that. That's not what we're looking for, but it should give us a good sense of you as a person and how you as a person is showing up in this program and how you as a person is going to show up in the work that you're going to be doing, right, moving forward. So really kind of give that some thought a bit in terms of like you doing it, and then triple check it, triple check it, because Donna and Tanisha can tell you that we get these applications and we see the personal statement and you're like, I'm applying to University of Carolina. That's already a turnoff for me, right? Because like, nope, we're not the University of Carolina, right? It just literally is a stupid little mistake, right? That you wrote this thing and you put it in, and when you upload the one for UM, you just forgot to remove Carolina, but you may not have seen that, you may not have known that, but we do. And so what is the message it sends to us? It means like you didn't take the time to carefully review the material before you upload it. So if you didn't take the time to do that for something that is that important to you, which is getting into a master's program, we can't imagine what this is going to look like when you get here to be able to think about working with clients. So it does not put you in a really good light. So take the time to really take a look at your documents, make sure that you're not mentioning schools' names that shouldn't be in there, right? So I say best practice, don't mention the school name, so that way, just in case at all. But if you are mentioning it, it's a really good idea to ensure that you go back and you read it, that it makes sense. You check your grammar, you check your spelling, because there's already a wonderful word system that actually underline things for you when you have an error. So it's really, really important to make sure that you take the time to read this stuff, okay, before you submit those in. So I'm gonna pause it just to see if Dr. Wonderman, you wanna share anything else regarding the personal statement, the letter recommendation, tips for people to know as well.
No, thank you so much, Dr. Nicola. Yes, but as far as a personal statement, I would suggest that you read it to someone. Read it out loud to someone, a colleague, a friend, somebody in class with you who you trust, to hear it, to make sure it sounds like you, because it is our first opportunity to get to know you. And I'm a writer as well, we write a lot of reports in this field. So take a moment and have somebody hear what you wrote. They can read it because that may help for somebody to look at it, but actually say it out loud, because you may realize, oh, that's not how I want it to sound. Because when we read it, we're hearing your voice and you're telling us about yourself and what drives you to want to come get your master's here. And I again also want to reinforce what Dr. Nicola said about the 3 recommendation letters. Go to those professors, those supervisors, those employers, the people that know your strengths, your gifts, because that's what we want to hear. We want to hear all the good stuff about you and why you will work well in this field. So take the time to stand up for yourself and go to those people who really know how you shine. That's what a recommendation letter is that we want to read. Okay?
Absolutely. And no, there's no word limit, but let me just say, right? So think about it for a moment, right? We get like 170, 180 people applying, right, to this program. So they're like the idea, we're going to read every single one of them to make a decision on who we're going to select for an interview, right? It does not make sense that you write a dissertation at this level. So we tend to see them, they tend to be about 1 to 3 pages, I would say, just to give yourself like a length of what to pay attention to. It's rare to find something, because if you're going beyond that, now you're just being wordy, you're just like, like you just can't stop it versus really staying focused. So that was the thing about Twitter. It forced you to say what you needed to say in the really quick way. So I would say you want to make sure that you get a chance to say what you organized your thought to say. I'm going to focus this personal statement to say, who am I? What have I done? And where am I going now? That's it. And by having a structure in place, it's going to help you to kind of stay, within that time. Okay. Now, Jessica's asking the question about if you don't have a psychology background, what are some of the things one can put in there, right? So if you don't have psychology experience, but it's exactly, you've had probably a lot of psychology experience that you weren't calling psychology experience, right? But you've had a lot of human experience, a lot of connection, with in a variety of different ways, whether or not it's your church or temple, or whether or not it's like in the school system, or, whatever, some things that you were doing that requires you to be in groups with people, connecting with people, all of that would count as a part of your experience that you would want to put. It doesn't, whether or not it was volunteer or paid position, you would want to put those in there to demonstrate your connection, your abilities to connect with another person. Like waitressing at a restaurant, do you know how much human connection you have to do? Like how much patience you have to have, and how being able to serve people who have all different interests and skill, like that's a really important people job that you had that you would want to absolutely elevate, in some way. So all of it counts, right? All of it counts. Okay. The other thing we want to mention after all of that, so you submit your application. Another part of the requirement to get in the program is an admission interview. So every single student who applied to the program, we review all applications. Out of all those applications, we're going to select the ones who should be invited for an interview. So that's the next stage of the process. And myself, Dr. Wonderman, and 3 of the other fabulous faculty members in this program are the ones who are going to be meeting with each of the candidates, right? And each candidate gets an opportunity to be interviewed by 2 faculty members, right? And this is important because if you meet with me and you hated me, like you have a really good chance with Dr. Wonderman. So when you meet with her, you're like, she was bad, but she's wonderful. So I might be able to like really, I might be okay to come to but it gives you the opportunity to be connected to two faculty members, right? Overall, as a part of your experience, so that you get a chance to ask different types of questions and get to know us in a very different way, right? And then as soon as those interviews are done, Dr. Wonderman and I, we look at, there's a weighting score that we have, and then we make admission offers to the top candidates, right? That seem to be a good fit, where there seem to be alignment between yourself and the program, right? As well. And then for our international students here, we have the international application process. Maybe Donna or Tanisha, can you share a little bit of information about what that process looks like? Because I see that we have a couple international students here as well.
So I'll do it, Donna. So yeah, for the international students, so for the TOEFL and IELTS scores, the university requires a minimum TOEFL score of 80 and a minimum IELTS score of 6.5. And for all the international institutions you attended, we have to receive an evaluation from a certified international evaluator vendor. So what the University of Miami we use the NACIS.org website, and all the members on that website are the international evaluations that we will accept for a part of your application. So in addition to that, international students have to also have a bachelor's degree with at least a 3.0 GPA undergraduate. Again, on official transcripts evaluated by international international evaluator vendor, 3 recommendation letters, personal statement, and of course, finally, an admissions interview. So those are the requirements for the international applicants. So, Donna, did I miss anything? I think I got it out.
Yeah. So just so you know, everything has to be in by the deadline. Right? So the deadline is the deadline. So we're really asking you to really making sure that all your stuff is in. So the great news is that you can start the process, maybe submit the application. The letters are, still coming, but this is why Donna and Tanisha was saying they are here. They are here with you from the beginning, from the get-go. So as they're looking through your materials, if there seem to be like your transcript did not come, they're going to send you an email. You'll get a message from the office to say, by the way, we didn't get your transcript yet, or we only have 2 letters. We're missing 1 letter, right? Just to keep you, even though you can also go into the system and see where your application is in terms of an update, but they also are there to help communicate to all of that with you as well, to make sure that all your stuff is in by March 1st, right? By that particular deadline as well. So I see okay, good. Let's move on to the next one, Don, if you don't mind. Okay, so we have, we already had our fall semester. For the fall semester, the deadline that we're working on now is March 1st. This is it, right? Unfortunately, we will not be able to extend that deadline at all for any reasons. It really is important to make sure that if you're applying for the fall 2025 cohort, then you have to make sure that your application is in by this deadline. The next deadline we will have for application will be fall of 2025 for fall 2026. We only admit in the fall semester. There's no admission that will happen in the spring term at all, right? So really important. Okay. The other thing we want you to think through a little bit is the things that makes all of this finalized, that you need to make sure that you have a check and balance. Donna, did you want to go over that? Like a Donna thing.
Sure. So again, I've been responding to some of you in the chat that had some general questions related to our materials. So again, for those of you that may not have your evaluations completed at this time and may need some more time, as long as we can read your transcripts, then we'll accept them now. But remember that all of these things need to be completed. For example, the evaluations need to still happen in order for you to be admitted into the program. But we can begin reviewing your application, and you could be invited to an interview with the documents. Like, for example, if your transcripts are still unofficial transcripts, you can still submit them now and we can still review them. Just keep in mind that in order for you to be enrolled and admitted into the program, we will need your official transcripts for final review. So again, like Dr. Nicholas mentioned, March 1st is our deadline. And we did receive some questions in the chat related to when will the interviews happen and in what modality will the interviews be conducted. So interviews will be done virtually. And so as soon as we've received all of the completed applications in early March, I would say by the second week of March, we'll begin doing interviews. So you'll be receiving an interview invitation to schedule or to select a time slot to be interviewed by the program faculty. And so just so you are aware, the interviews are around 20 minutes each. So just keep that in mind. Okay.
Absolutely. I love the way that Don is like, Terry, did you love that? There's like second week of March, we'll be interviewing. Donna, second week of March, I love that optimism. This is what I'm talking about the office. That office is all post students, so they're really on us. They're like, listen, they submitted the application March 1st. We need to get back to them right away. Have you guys reviewed the applications? And then we're like, we have other lives, like there are other things happening, but they're all for you guys from the beginning on. But we know we're going to need to take some time to review all those applications. We have to be honest and transparent with you in terms of that. That takes time for us to be able to do so, right? We want to make sure that you took the time to submit it. We have to take the time to read it all, right? To make sure that we make a decision to all of you. We know that we are heading into spring break, the week of March 10th. So we have to be very mindful of that as well, because that is the faculty is off during that time. So we have to manage those things in order for us to ensure that we are scheduling interviews. But for sure, interviews will be happening in March for sure. I think that's a guarantee on our part, so that way we are able to tell you relatively quickly, by end of March, early April, by for sure mid-April, that what the decision is for the program as well. So just to give you like a sense of like the timeline. Does that sound good, Dr. Wonderman, by you as well? Yeah, okay, great. So just so you know, the program is created to be a 2 years full-time program, right? But there are students who are able to do the program in 3 years. They're able to do the program in 4 years, right, as well. But what I'm sharing with you is like a sample of what the program looked like typically for 2 years full-time, right? And in terms of what it looks like. It's a heavy cost-heavy program in the first year of it, because you're not seeing clients in year one. You are doing a lot of role plays. We are really assessing your skills. These are not classes where you come and just listen to a PowerPoint and that's it, because we are taking the time in year one to make sure that you are fully ready to start to see clients by year two, right? So a lot of reflections, a lot of opportunity for you to write, to write, what are you seeing, what are you hearing, in terms of the materials, a lot of opportunity for you to do role plays, pretend to be a patient while somebody else is pretending to be a therapist, observing you and seeing how you're doing in terms of that. So that's why it's heavy. 4 classes for the fall, 4 classes in the spring. That is Monday to Thursday. No classes on Friday, but Monday to Thursday, we are in classes, and all our classes starts around 4 o'clock. There's some of it, sometimes we start at 2, depending if we need to run 2 sessions of that. But just to give you an idea of when the classes are, Monday to Thursday. And then of course, there are 2 classes that you have to take in both summer A and summer B. So it is important to kind of think as a master's student in the program, the idea of you being off for the summer is kind of over, right? Until you finish up this master's program. And it's even worse when you start to see clients, because the clients don't have holidays. There's no spring break for doing your practicum. There's no month off doing practicum, because now you are at a clinic. doing your clinical work. And it really is based on the schedule of that clinic or the hospital in terms of when you're going to be off. So you don't want to be planning, oh, I'm going to go on a wedding for spring break, unless you're going to ask for that time off in your year 2. You may not necessarily be able to get off because the centers don't know the same in terms of the same things in terms of the break, right? So that's the first year of classes. And then this is followed by the second year. So the second year, you are in less classes. And the reason you're in less classes because you're doing 20 hours of clinical work, right? So 20 hours of practicum is what the expectations are. And as a result of that, you're taking really less classes. So you have like an elective, you have the practicum class. I think you have a requirement class now, which is the trauma class, and then one elective class that you are to take. And then, of course, your practicum runs for fall, spring, and summer. So most of them are ending in like July for you to finish up your practicum as well. Okay. Did I miss anything, colleagues, in that?
I would say, Dr. Nicholas, could you speak a little bit about students that want to do the program part-time? And for example, that might be also working and
Yes.
may need to expand the program longer.
Absolutely. So let's say you want to do the program for 3 years instead of 2 years. So what we're showing you is the typical full-time plan. You do it for 2 years, right? So if you want to do the program in 3 years, think of it like 1 day shorter. So if you're doing 3 years, you're taking 3 classes, right? That you're gonna do in both of those semesters. So which means that you have classes 3 years, 3, you know, to add that up. You're probably not doing. You could be doing your practicum. Starting your second year, you can still be doing it, but instead of doing practicum for 20 hours, you're doing practicum for 10 hours, right? Because you're going to do it for 2 years, right, as well. But then we also have some students, because of life-work balance as well, they may say, I'm going to do my practicum my 3rd year, and I'm going to devote a full 20 hours, you know, in the 3rd year, right? And that's possible as well, depending on the person's schedule. So that's like a 3-year plan. So it means like it reduces the number of courses that you're taking per semester in the summer, because now you can roll them over, not just 2 semesters, but you can now roll it over to like 4 semesters plus the summer. So then you can, so the classes looks less. But then let's say you're going to do the program for 4 years, right? Which is an option as well to many of our students, that you can do the program in 4 years. So now you're taking 2 classes per semester, right? Instead of 3 classes if you're doing 3 years. 4 if you're doing 2 years, and that allows you to be able to then also spread out how you're doing your practicum as well during the course of the program, right, as well, okay? And we have like we have a course sequence plan for each one of those. So the moment you say, this is my need, this is how I foresee doing the program, then we're gonna customize that for you so that we're very clear on like what the course is gonna look like for you, when will you do practicum, and all of that as well.
Dr. Nicholas, we had a question related to how does the university assign the practicum? So if you can speak a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So all of the practicum placements are based on contract that we've developed with the practicum sites. So a student can't just go and do a practicum anywhere, right? So these are sites that we've cultivated, that we've developed relationships with, that we know exactly what they're about. We know exactly what their training looks like. We know what your supervision is gonna look like. And they have to go through a vigorous vetting process with the legal team, and they have to sign a full contract in order for them to be onboarded as a practicum site, right, within the program. And now that allows us to have like a practicum brochure, right? And we have a practicum director, Dr. Senville, right? We have another faculty member who's designated towards working with all of you around the process of applying to these sites, interviewing at these sites, selecting your practicum sites, and so on. And we're constantly adding new sites to it. So as students, like we just had a practicum orientation yesterday with all of the first year students, right? So somebody can say, oh, I have an excellent site that I think would be great for me to do my practicum at. And the answer would be, it might be a great practicum site for the next cohort, right? Because it's great that you're introducing us to that person. and to that site, and we're going to meet with them to kind of get a sense of their training. But that process of onboarding them with a new contract is going to take a couple months for that to happen. And we don't want our students to wait for that possibility, because if it doesn't happen, that means the student's not going to have a practicum, and all of the students must have a contracted practicum by May, and for us. And so so they have to use the sites that already approve within the system. Dr. Wonderman, did you want to add anything else that I may have missed to that?
No, just that the practicum process is a process where we've cleared the sites. That's what we want you to hear. We've approved the sites, but then you have a choice of what fits for you.
Yeah.
So it's a mutual, and the site has the choice of you if you fit for them.
Yeah.
So it's a mutual process that we work with you, but it's not like you have to go out and find it for yourself, or we assign it to you and say you're stuck with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I was just like bragging about the fact that we had good weather, and then it started to rain.
No, there's a lot of choice in the matter, but we, our faculty have approved the sites to make sure you're getting a safe and appropriate experience.
But it sounded good. Did you guys capture all of that? Yeah, right? Yeah, even though it sounded relatively slow because of the internet issues. Yeah, because of the internet issue, but we got it all, Dr. Wonderman. So that was really awesome. So
my power has gone off a few times.
Yeah, because it's raining. I just heard the thunder and the rain down here. I don't know if it's
Okay, we're going to move on to the next slide.
Just to answer yes, it sounds like Dr. Wonderman answered the question.
Tonight, the weather tonight, it's been windy, so. Yeah.
All classes are in person. All our classes are in person. Just so you know, right at this particular moment, we don't have any virtual classes are not virtual for us, and similarly for our practicum placements. Majority of them are in person, with a few of them might be in virtual as well. This kind of gives you a little bit of a sense of the curriculum. That is a part of the requirement that all of you will be taking, so that you can get a sense of it. These are the classes when we talk about 4 classes plus the summer. These are the classes that every single one of you will be taking. So one of the things that makes the program incredibly, I think, a huge strength of the program is the multicultural nature and the community part of the program. So even though you're seeing that we have a class that's on culture, that does not mean that you only get it there. Right? You are getting culture and community and working with diverse clients in every single class that you are in during the course of your time in the program. And then we have very few electives in the class and the program. And the reason why we only have these 3 electives is because of the requirement for licensure. There's not a lot of space for electives. As somebody was just asking, how many credits is that? So each class is 3 credits. And so if you're taking 4 classes, then it's 3 times 4, right? 12 credits that you're taking every semester. And we don't want you to have to take a lot of credits, but more importantly, you don't have a lot of spaces for it either. So these are the main electives that you're going to be taking during the program. So this is the program curriculum in a nutshell that you're looking at, right?
Okay, we'll move on to the next slide.
Yeah, please. And then this is to answer the question regarding the practicum placements and and where you're going to be. So as Dr. Wonderman mentioned, you can select this kind of site that you want to be in. And so you might say, I want to do my practicum at a hospital. I want to be at a community center. I want to be, in whatever makes sense for you in terms of your training. Once you go to the brochure, you're going to select where you want to do it. You have to do 15 credit hour of practicum. So that just thinking about the credit time, that's 20 hours that you are doing. It's a coordinated process in terms of your placement in there. Like I said, you can do it a variety of different places, from community clinics, hospitals, private practice, and so, private practice, as well as government service agencies that are also providing services to clients as well. So, so it's again, like I indicated, we have a designated faculty member who's there to make sure that you are able to be at those sites. The one thing I'll add to your practicum experience, which is really is important, see how you have all those classes that you are taking in year one, and you swear to God that you are going to remember every single one of them by the time you start practicum. But now you're starting to see patients live, and you're like, what was that class on ethics again? What did it tell me again? So in the program, not while you are in your practicum experience, we have a seminar called 682, EPS 682. This is a class that is requirement for every single student who's in practicum, and it runs the time that you are in practicum. So fall, spring, and summer. This is the time where a faculty member is reminding you of the theories, is reminding you of the ethics, is reminding you of the multicultural stuff, is reminding you of the stuff that you learn and how to integrate them into your clinical practice and the work that you are doing now. And then through that seminar, you get a chance to kind of think about how to do an assessment, and how to write up assessment, and how to do a treatment plan, how to do a case conceptualization. Again, all of that is happening through this seminar. The seminar is relatively small number of you. So even if we have like 30 students in the cohort, while you are taking classes as a part of a cohort, in the program, when you get to practicum and to that seminar, there cannot be no more than 8 students in the seminar class. So it's a relatively smaller seminar class where you get a chance to talk, to get more integration with some of the theoretical and didactic stuff that you learn in year one, right, as a part of your training. So that's happening during the course of this practicum experience. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next slide, and so I can make sure we give ample time to hear any other questions that you have as well. This program is preparing you for licensure in the state of Florida, right? So where the program is at is where you are being licensed. So it's making sure that you meet the requirement for you to be a licensed mental health clinician. It's also helping you kind of prepare for that licensing exam a bit as well, because as a part of the program, you have to take an exam called the CPCE, the Preparatory Education Counselor Educator exam. And that's kind of a way to prepare you to be able to take the state licensing exam as a part of that as well. So as a result of that, when you're done with us and you have to do a post internship, right? It's a paid job, right? You can get a job where you're getting paid, but you have to accumulate hours and experience after your degree in order for you to be able to now open up your own private practice, right? But you can absolutely do that with this degree. You can work in community organizations. You can go work in a hospital. You can work in government aid services. So all the placement that you see for practicum are all the places that you can also, do work, and just adding the private practice as another option for you as well. Okay, so these are some of the career paths for many students. Okay. And then lastly, I want to share with you a little bit of some of the resources that are available to all of you. Within the program, like I said, that we have the best add-on. And I'm not saying that because they're here. Let me just say that for the record. I'm not saying this because Ms. Hollingshed and Vi are here for that, because they really are the best team of pro student that I have seen in terms of making sure that somebody is accompanying our students from the time you apply, you finish graduating. Guess what you need? You need letters after graduation to submit to the licensing board. They're still accompanying you to that process, right? They're there, they're making sure that the classes that you are taking in terms of advising, like, are you taking the right classes? If you're on the 2-year plan or your 3-year plan, they're there to, to do that. I've never been in a program where the students didn't go registered. This team of people know exactly what you need to take. And they're like, we are registering you because we already know what you need to do. So you're not even going to like register yourself for classes already, because they already know what that's going to look like for you. And they do that. It's just an amazing team, that we have, and just incredibly grateful to get a chance to work with them through that process. We have an excellent career counseling office with the Butler Center also here as well on campus. They come in and they do amazing things with every single one of our students because they really want to make sure that you are prepared for your career path, right? So this is the team of people that's doing your professional headshots, right? So they do professional pictures for you. They make sure your LinkedIn page is actually right on as a professional before you finish. They make sure that you know the databases of where you can apply for jobs, how to get your resume moved from a graduate student now to a professional, person as well. They do all of that through this career counseling center. And they also come to the 682 class. I was telling you that seminar. They also come to it and also do a number of things with our students during that time. Mental health services also on campus, and all of us who's doing this work, if you say to us that you are doing mental health services and you don't think you need therapy, we say actually do not waste the money to actually apply to this program, because we can imagine it, right? That you are doing this work and none of us is actually getting the, being in therapy. My therapist is on a speed dial for me, okay? In terms of that. So, but we have an excellent service on campus, but also we can provide referrals outside as well. As you know, this is a Research One university. So if many of you wants to do research and you want to be involved in a research lab, I know on my research lab, I have several doctoral students, but I also have several master's students and some undergraduate students that's on my research lab. So there's opportunity for you to also be able to gain research experiences, especially if you're interested in doctoral programs. So that's where the advising comes in. Because if you come in and says, no, the master's is not it for me, I have another level that I want to go and I want to move forward to my doctoral degree, we want to make sure that we are getting you into research your first semester in the program to make sure that you have the experience that you're going to need in order for you to be, to be successful to that process when you apply as well. And also great opportunities for you to network, not only network with each other, but network with the other class, that's ahead of you. You want to know all those colleagues and, making sure that you are connecting with the alums of this program. And so we invite them back in for like guest lecturing and be a part of 682, but also, just inviting them for any of these kind of cocktail events that we have as a part of the program as well. So these are some of the resources that we have. Lastly, I know you do not want me to end without saying something about tuition and financial aid, which I'll leave to Tanisha. Tanisha, you want to say something about financial aid, about the money? See how Tanisha does not want to say anything about the money? You see how Tanisha's going to let me be with that? All right, with that. Okay. So right, Tanisha, you going to let me take that one, Tanisha? I thought you were going to talk about the money.
Oh, sure. You mean like, okay, I can. Okay, so as you know, the University of Miami, we work with the federal government, so there are what is it, federal student aid that students can apply for, and we also have some internal School of Education scholarship opportunities for eligible applicants or current students, and we also you may qualify for a School of Education tuition waiver, also known as a discount. But that is something that you can get more information on when you are being interviewed, the faculty, counseling faculty. So that's it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So these are all so it's a great way to think of it, right? So we give you the credit. It's good for you to check the tuition at UM. It's on the website. The reason why we don't put that stuff in there is because it can change. It's really good for you to go on, click on the website and see what the tuition is at the U at this particular moment to help you calculate. And that also what helps you make decision of whether or not you want to do this program in 2 years versus 3 years versus 4 years, right? As well. And so with that, I'm gonna pause just to see if there's anything that, Donna, you wanna add to any of this? Dr. Wonderman, if there's anything you wanted to add, but then we really wanna turn it over to you guys for questions that you may not have asked in the chat, but you would love to ask.
So no, I don't think I don't have much to add, Dr. Nicholas.
Okay.
Dr.
Awesome.
Wonderman.
Just wanted to clarify, there were some questions about, is the program an online program? This is and I hope you can hear me.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm on my Wi-Fi now. I didn't have to keep using the hotspot. This is an in-person program. Actually, we had a couple years where we taught in masks, but we're now in person. Occasionally, some professors will offer Zoom if you, let's say you're sick, but you want to participate, or you have to be called out of town if there's a death in the family, there's an emergency, but you still want to participate. But that is an option, and that's not the standard way we practice. When you're in, that's for the core coursework because we need to be interacting with people in person. The second year, if you're in the 2-year program, when you're in practicum, that practicum class Dr. Nicola was referring to 682, where you're meeting with a small group of folks who are all of you are in practicum. That's done online by Zoom because everyone's at a site somewhere in the Miami area. So you do meet on Zoom for that to talk about your cases, your problems at your site, and improving your skills as a counselor that way. But the courses are in person and they're very dynamic in that way. So I don't know if you had any other questions about that, or what, if you want to know more about the classes or what's life like at the university, please let us know.
Questions, now it's your turn. Yes.
So I'm gonna stop the recording uh so that we don't record your video as you ask your questions, but please